Renowned for its windmills, tulips, tall people, and land reclamation from the sea, the Netherlands boasts one of the world's top 20 economies, with a per capita GDP exceeding $50,000. Dutch readers, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. The country's geography is both a blessing and a challenge. Its strategic location makes it a key European trade hub, but with a quarter of its land below sea level, the Netherlands has had to become a master of water management. The nation's impressive feats in engineering, including delta works, dams, dikes, and polders, are a testament to human ingenuity and resilience, offering valuable lessons in an era of rising sea levels. Dutch society is highly individualistic, a trait some argue contributes to collective economic success, though this remains debatable. Historically, the Dutch government played a significant role in regulating the economy. However, in the 1980s, economic reforms led to privatization and a reduction in state intervention, aligning with global trends towards market economies. Despite these changes, the Netherlands maintains a regulated market economy and is often cited as the birthplace of modern capitalism. Long before Amazon, Apple, or Google, the Dutch East India Company, VOC, dominated global trade in the 17th century. Although it committed numerous colonial atrocities, the VOC pioneered many economic principles that underpin modern corporations. It wasn't until the late 1700s that the British overtook the Dutch as the world's leading trading nation. The Netherlands' tradition of commerce continues, with its economy heavily reliant on foreign trade. The nation's economic history offers many lessons. For instance, tulips, introduced to Europe from Turkey in the mid-1500s, became a symbol of wealth and status, particularly those infected with a virus that created striking patterns. By the early 1600s, the demand for these rare bulbs soared, leading to an extraordinary economic bubble known as tulip mania. During the peak of tulip mania, 1633 to 1637, some tulip bulbs were valued higher than houses, with trades often conducted as future contracts. The bubble burst in 1637, causing prices to plummet and fortunes to be lost. This episode, considered the first recorded speculative bubble, illustrates how asset prices can detach from intrinsic value, driven by the hope of selling at higher prices later, an example of the greater fool theory. Comparisons have been made between tulip mania and various modern economic bubbles, such as those involving Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Some historians argue that the extent of tulip mania was exaggerated and its impact on the broader Dutch economy was minimal. Tulip mania serves as a classic example of how speculative bubbles form and burst, highlighting our susceptibility to irrational exuberance. We tend to get swept up in the hype, only to face inevitable collapse before moving on to the next craze, repeating the cycle. In 1959, the discovery of natural gas in Groningen significantly boosted the Dutch economy. This discovery was pivotal for the Netherlands, much like oil for Norway or banking for Switzerland. However, while natural gas expanded economic horizons, it also introduced unforeseen challenges, creating what is known as the Dutch disease, a term coined by The Economist in 1977. Dutch disease describes a phenomenon where economic growth in one sector, typically natural resources, leads to a decline in others, such as manufacturing and agriculture. As the Netherlands began exporting natural gas, the inflow of revenue caused the guilder to appreciate in value. While this might seem beneficial, it had adverse effects. The stronger currency made Dutch exports pricier and less competitive internationally, while cheaper imports flooded the domestic market, undermining local industries. The booming natural gas sector offered higher wages, drawing workers away from other sectors, which struggled to compete. This shift caused rising unemployment in the less competitive sectors. Investors also flocked to the lucrative natural gas industry, further draining resources from other parts of the economy. Meanwhile, increased government revenues from natural gas exports led to higher public spending on infrastructure, military, and welfare programs. Although these welfare programs were politically popular, They became problematic if the booming sector experienced a downturn, necessitating unpopular cuts. An economy with greater complexity and diversity is less vulnerable to Dutch disease. Mismanaged wealth can turn a boon into a bane, illustrating the resource curse, where riches become more of a hindrance than help. The key lesson here is to diversify economic interests rather than rely on a single sector. The Dutch have a reputation for thriftiness, often preferring practical, cost-effective choices over luxury brands. This frugality, however, should not be mistaken for greed. The Netherlands is known for its efficiency and pragmatism, and this extends to their consumer habits, where they prioritize value and functionality. The Netherlands is notable for its significant contributions to development aid, ranking high in both per capita spending and as a percentage of gross national income. A Dutch proverb advises, just act normal, that's crazy enough, reflecting a cultural preference for modesty and practicality, which also influences financial habits. Boasting about wealth is often discouraged, and the Dutch are known for their candid and direct communication. Employment rates in the Netherlands are impressively high, with a unique emphasis on part-time work, accommodating a flexible working culture. Many Dutch people choose to work during evenings or weekends, which contributes to this high employment rate. While the country boasts low income inequality, wealth inequality is a more complex issue, generating diverse opinions. A strong middle class can mask the presence of very wealthy individuals who control a substantial portion of the nation's wealth. Despite being vocal about social security and having one of the best pension systems, public social welfare spending in the Netherlands is not the highest globally. Household debt, however, is alarmingly high, exceeding 230% of net disposable income. High rents in Amsterdam and the overall cost of living are common complaints. The Netherlands faces demographic challenges with a growing elderly population and a fertility rate below replacement levels. Unlike Canada or Australia, the Dutch are generally less open to increasing immigration to boost the working age population. The country has regulated and legalized the world's oldest profession, providing safety and enabling taxation rather than letting it operate underground. With a high tax revenue to GDP ratio, Dutch residents and companies are significant investors abroad. The Netherlands is home to major global corporations like Royal Dutch Shell, Heineken, and Philips. Public trust in the government is strong, and the country ranks low in corruption. However, it is also listed among the top countries on the Financial Secrecy Index and Corporate Tax Haven Index, indicating its role as a tax haven. The recent EU harmonization tax plan could potentially impact these rankings and practices, making it a development worth monitoring. While the Netherlands promotes itself as a champion of clean energy, the true catalyst behind halting natural gas extraction is the unusual frequency of earthquakes linked to these activities. Strategically positioned in Europe's distribution network, the Netherlands boasts critical infrastructures like Schiphol Airport and the ports of Rotterdam and Amsterdam, which connect to major Euro corridors. These hubs, along with numerous warehouses and distribution centers, facilitate the operations of major international corporations across Europe. Rotterdam's port is even dubbed the largest German port due to its economic significance for Germany. As a Eurozone member, the Dutch monetary policy is dictated by the European Central Bank. Given the Netherlands' strong economic ties to the European Union, a potential Nexit, would be more detrimental compared to the UK's Brexit, particularly concerning relations with Russia. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments. The Netherlands excels in agricultural technology, which is essential given its high population density. The sector is highly automated, with advanced greenhouses and minimal workforce requirements maximizing output. Wageningen University, often compared to Stanford in the field of agriculture, consistently ranks at the top. Consequently, the Netherlands is the second largest exporter of agricultural products globally. However, it is not among the top fruit producers, as many exported products are initially imported from low-wage countries, using diverse farming techniques rather than high-tech methods. Subsidies and high tariffs on inexpensive food from developing nations keep the EU's agricultural sector thriving. Many exports, like flowers, are also partly imported and traded through the Netherlands. The country is the EU's largest meat exporter, with veal and beef going to Germany, poultry to the UK, and pork to China, where it is cheaper for the Dutch to produce pork than the Chinese. Other notable exports include dairy and select vegetables. Dutch agricultural exports are impressive due to their value, not volume, as they cater to high-paying markets demanding premium products. Logistics, warehousing, and an excellent distribution network, along with an ideal port location at Europe's crossroads, contribute significantly to the Netherlands' agricultural success. Bulk transport is relatively inexpensive, and being part of a homogeneous trade bloc is advantageous. Without these benefits, replicating the Dutch agricultural model's success, even with similar technology and techniques, would be challenging. The Netherlands is exploring donut economics, a theory by Kate Raworth that advocates for sustainable growth by balancing sufficiency and reducing overconsumption. While it aims to rethink traditional economic models, it appears more as a proposal for better management practices, wrapped in catchy terms and moral considerations. If you loved this video, do take out a minute to like and subscribe, and don't forget to let us know what you think in the comments section.